All right, always a highlight. This whole event's a highlight. I really believe that. And the Marv Levy Award is a really big deal for the Gridiron Greats. And Mike Golick is here tonight for coach. He was a standout at Notre Dame and in the NFL on the defensive line. He's also now a member of the National Association of Broadcasters Hall of Fame. He's had a great career as a player, as a dad, as a philanthropist, and as a broadcaster. And he's here with us tonight and also a member of the Gridiron Greats Hall of Fame. Let's welcome back again Mike Golick.
That's why I only lasted 9 years, fell down like that. This has been a great night until JT ruined it a little bit ago. In seeing all these honorees, you always look at, oh, did I play against any of these guys? You know, Mike Singletary, thank God. We were both on defense, so I didn't have to play against him. Emery was a tight end. I was a D lineman, so we didn't match up much. Vince Papale, who we're going to talk about in a minute, played a little before my time. Sorry, Vince. But then JT introduces Jimbo Covert to kick my ass all over the field. So thanks for being here. Nice to see you. The Marv Levy Impact Award, Marv couldn't be here tonight. He's helping somebody in his family. Marv is fine. And by the way, Marv is 98 years old. And one of the nicest men you would ever want to meet, because you think of these gruff coaches and you look at him at times, you know, in Buffalo with the frozen face and everything, and looked the nicest guy out there. And also a man who, out of high school, enlisted into the armed services. So that's one of the main criteria of this award, is the honoree giving back to those men and women who have served our country. And you'll see the video of Vince Papale is the honoree tonight. But Vince, you know, I played most of my career in Philly, and we all know the story of Vince with the movie Invincible. Vince always told he was too small to play, but man, he was fast. Dude could run. To go, think about it, to go to an open tryout and make an NFL team is unheard of. So, and by the way, he was a special team standout back when special teamers were friggin' psychos, all right? When you were allowed to dive and hit people and lose your minds, that's exactly what he did. But he played in Philadelphia for the Eagles for 3 years, and in those 3 years, and you'll see a lot of this in the video, but I want to say it because spending most of my years in Philly, I loved playing in Philly. We know what kind of fans Philly has. We know what kind of fan Vince was before he ended up playing for the Eagles. In his 3 years, he was the special teams captain, he got named, and also the Eagles NFL Man of the Year for all his charitable contributions in that short time, along with making the team and playing the way he did. And it's for those charitable contributions, which so many players do that people don't see, that Vince has gone on to do during his career and post-career. And a lot of that has to do with the men and women who serve our country. So let's take a look at the video.
Vince Papale was born February 9, 1946, in Glenolden, Pennsylvania, to Lamira and Kingi. He attended Interboro High School in Prospect Park. As a Buccaneer, Vince earned varsity letters in football, basketball, and track, all in his senior year. In his only year of varsity football, Papale won all Delaware County honorable mention honors, despite being told he was too small to play. As the fastest kid at Interboro, it was in track and field where he really excelled. He was a standout pole vaulter, triple jumper, and long jumper. He won state championships and earned a full ride to St. Joseph's University in Philadelphia, a university without a football team. After graduating Hawk Hill in 1968, Vince went back to his alma mater, Interboro High, as a teacher and coached the junior varsity football team for 6 years. He bartended at Max's in Prospect Park and started working on his master's degree in secondary counseling. He even had a run at the Olympic trials in the decathlon. Vince figured he would retire after a rewarding career in education. However, football was Vince's love and passion, and the Eagles were his team. Vince Papale's post-collegiate football career began with the Aston Green Knights of the semi-pro Seaboard Football League. This led Vince to successfully try out for the Philadelphia Bell of the World Football League as wide receiver. In his 2 seasons with the Bell, Papale was a special teams standout. In 1976, the opportunity of his lifetime came, a free agent tryout with the Eagles. At age 30, Papale made the team, becoming the oldest rookie non-kicker in the history of the NFL to play without college football experience. He went on to play wide receiver and special teams for the Eagles from 1976 through 1978. Vince was voted special teams captain by his teammates and man of the year by the Eagles in 1978 for his many charitable activities. A shoulder injury ended his career in 1979. After retiring from the NFL, he worked as a TV and radio broadcaster for 8 years, then became a commercial mortgage banker. Papale was the regional director of marketing and senior account executive for higher education marketing at Sallie Mae and is a sought-after motivational speaker. Vince remains a diehard Philadelphia Eagles football fan. He served as the secretary and treasurer of the Philadelphia chapter of the NFL Alumni Association. Papale continues to be an inspiration today, and fans recently voted him as the Philadelphia Eagles' most outstanding special teams player during the Eagles' 75th anniversary celebration. Papale, who earned the nickname Rocky while playing with the Eagles, is the subject of the 2006 Disney movie Invincible. He was portrayed by Mark Wahlberg, and his legendary story of perseverance earned 2 thumbs up with both critics and fans alike. Following his own diagnosis with colorectal cancer in 2001, Papale has become a spokesman for the cause, appearing in commercials to encourage others to get regular checkups and tested. He won the Vince Lombardi Award for courage for overcoming his battle with the disease. In 2012, he received the Marine Military Academy Iwo Jima Leadership Award. Vince lends his support to many charitable organizations, but has a special bond with the Travis Manion Foundation. The foundation, named for First Lieutenant Travis Manion, U.S. Marine Corps, who made the ultimate sacrifice for the safety of his patrol in 2007, develops programs, training opportunities, and events to empower veterans and families of the fallen. Vince is especially proud to note that he has had the American flag flown in his honor over the U.S. Capitol and by the troops in Iraq and Afghanistan, whom he calls his heroes. Vince resides in Jupiter, Florida, with his wife Janet Cantwell Papale, a former member of the United States Olympic gymnastics team. Vince and Janet are the only married couple who have each been inducted into the Pennsylvania Sports Hall of Fame. They have 2 children, Gabriella and Vinny. Vinny played wide receiver for the University of Delaware Blue Hens, the Tampa Bay Bandits, and is currently with the Memphis Showboats of the United Football League.
Man, oh man, my heart is pounding. Not quite like the landing we had yesterday coming in from West Palm Beach where our plane hit the ground like the front of a rim in a basketball, was going, and we had to go around and come back in again. So I'm glad to be alive right now. So this is really cool. Thank you so very much. I mean, what an honor. Mike Golick, how about a round of applause for Mike and all the great things that he's done. And there's so many people for me to thank, and I'll get into that in just a second, and I won't be too long, but I do want to honor those that have served us. And how many people, just sort of off the top of your head, or my head, how many people have seen the movie Invincible? Oh, thank you very much. And anybody like it? It was sort of like my favorite movie, you know what I'm saying? And, thanks to Sylvester Stallone, they compared me to Rocky. It was real life Rocky. And did anybody cry? I mean, you watch movies. You cry at the end of movies. Did anybody cry at the end of it? Yeah, oh, there we go. We got one. February 9th, my birthday mate right there. Yeah, so every time, I've only seen the movie about 150 times, right? So, and every time I see it, I cry. Because you know what Invincible is? It's about you. It's about your dream. It's about just wanting something so bad, but you never thought you'd get the opportunity to get it. And I got that opportunity from Dick Vermeil in 1976 with a free agent tryout. I was a season ticket holder for 10 years with the Eagles. Now, have you ever sat in the stands of any kind of a game, whatever the sport is, and saying, I could do that if I was given a chance, right? Oh, I could do that. Hey, well, goddamn, man, I got a chance. So, and, and thanks to Coach Ramil, there it was, and that dream come true. And I'm going to tell you, every time I see the movie, because our movie is all about that impossible dream. I mean, it's insane. It's about doing the undoable. It's about doing the unthinkable, and it happened. And our movie ran #1 in the box office for the first couple of weeks. Oh, by the way, you guys were talking about your rookie contracts. I got y'all beat, 21,000. 21, 25, and 35. How's that? And 2 season tickets to go with it. So, yeah, every time I see the movie, I cry. Your movie's reached well into the hundreds of millions for Disney before they went woke. But anyway, it's the reason I cry, I get no residuals whatsoever, none. So it's been great. But I'm just so thankful to be here and so honored to be here in Chicago. I remember having played in Soldier Field. I remember getting my butt whipped by Gary Fensick and Doug Plank. I mean, a couple of your players, and it's all good. And and I got an interview. I was with the great Jim Bob. Right, where's Jim Bob? There he is. He's right over there with Chris Joey. Say hi, Jim Bob. So with the great station WGN, and he says, hey, what was one of the things that you had to overcome the most when you played for the Eagles, when you played in the NFL? And it's this right now. It's the awe. It's the intimidation. To be going against, guys that I'm watching the games on TV all the time. I'm a season ticket holder for 10 years. And all of a sudden, I'm trying to beat these guys' brains in to make the team, And then I'm out and I'm playing in St. Louis, or I'm out there in L.A. playing up in the Giants, whatever it is. And I'm seeing all these players that, like, in my eyes are stars, And I had to go against them. And that was one of the biggest things, was the intimidating factor of being in the NFL. But this is pretty cool. So, you sort of know the bio side of things. Mike did such a great job and a tremendous job with the video. But I want to thank one guy in particular, and that's Nate Boyer. And there's a lot of people to thank. Nate is you're shaking your head. Nate, he played for Texas and, Ranger and all that. This is just a great guy. Well, where Nate is? He's in Normandy right now. And today's a pretty big day in our lives. Today was a day when a lot of men and a lot of women sacrificed their lives, gave up their dreams for us to have our dreams come true. And Nate is out there honoring them. We have a lot of veterans. We have a lot of veterans in the audience. Everybody who's served for the USA, would you please stand and be recognized, please? Please stand. Look around. Look what we got here. Yeah. Man, and thank you so much, and thank you for your service, and thank you for keeping that American dream alive. That's what it's all about. The dreams that we have, the dreams our kids have, the dreams that we've had for our kids, and all those kinds of things, So, and to be here, and I'm looking at this award, the Marv Levy Impact Award. Marv Levy, here he is. He was a soldier, and he could have been here, but he's caring for his family. He's caring for somebody in his family. 98 years old. I had a call with him last week. It was astonishing. I couldn't believe that I was talking to him, and what a wonderful thing. And I'm so humbled, and I'm deeply honored to receive this award. I didn't do nothing, trying out for the Eagles. Somebody had asked me, what was it like? What motivated you to do it? Hey, guess what? Did you ever just see something that was just looking right at you and say, go get it? But you know what? You have to give it a little bit something extra. You got to give it 110%. You have to fulfill your full potential to get there. But when you do it, you get it. And you got it. And I got it for a couple years. And now I get an NFL pension. So how cool is that? I mean, yeah. I don't know about you, Mike, but I'm getting about $300 a year. So, man, I'll tell you what. here's what I'd like to do. I'm going to flip the script a little bit, and I'm going to get through this very quickly. But we've honored so many that have made such a great impact in our lives and your lives and everything else. You don't have to be a professional football player. You didn't have to play in the CFL. You didn't have to be a great hockey player like Chris Chelios. Our Chris Chelios, we used to hate him in Philly, but I love him now. I can't wait to taste your tequila, baby. I'll tell you that. So, I just want to sort of flip the table a little bit, and flip it over to, let's talk about those that had tremendous impacts on our lives. Who was that person? Have you thought about that? That volunteer, that teacher, that coach. Which one was it? Have you thanked them lately? Have you called them? Have you sent them a note? Have you tried texting them? Have you let them know how important they've been in your life? Are you one of those people? Are you one of them? Have you made an impact in somebody's life? You don't have to be a professional hockey player. You don't have to be anything like that. You can just be you to help somebody out. That's what it's all about. And I would like right now, aside from all those that were honored and all the honorees that we had, and oh my God, and Syracuse, my daughter went to Syracuse. Yeah, yeah, Deborah. And oh geez, just so many great things. And the impacts that people have made in my life. So I figured I'd just go through a couple of them. Maybe it'll rattle your cage a little bit, but please do understand, reach out to those that made that impact, and you don't have to be a great star to do it. Just be you. And just, it's out there. There's people that are just, right now especially, there are people that are begging for somebody to take them under their help and their control. And you could be that one person to save a life, to keep that dream come true. So, one, I have to say my parents. They're like in the Papale team Rushmore. My mom and dad, both of them are first generation immigrants. My mother from the English side, my father from the Italian side, both one of 9. Both never got beyond the 8th grade because of World War II and the Great Depression. My mother, you ever hear of the League of Their Own, ladies? My mom was one of them. That was pretty cool. Great athlete. My dad's semi-pro football player. Pig farmer. How's that? No running water in their house. And this is what we used to go to when we were kids. I grew up in a housing project. My dad worked at Westinghouse. So, mom and dad, they're in the Rushmore. But, one guy that really had a great impact on me was actually Leonard Tost, the owner of the Philadelphia Eagles. He had this charity called the Eagles Fly for Leukemia. And, there it was for Children's Hospital in Philadelphia. Every Monday, we used to go after practice, after we probably lost the game, Mike. We sort of sucked back then. But, we would go there, and we would go to Children's Hospital and visit the kids with leukemia. And just to be there, just to make them feel good about themselves. And then I had a student, because I was a school teacher, I had a student that burned herself up pretty bad because she was a baton twirler, and she decided to try the flame thing, and she wound up in a burn center. So Denny Franks and me, every Monday, used to just go to the burn center, and we go to the Children's Hospital. There weren't cameras around. We just did it. You did it because you just wanted to make somebody feel good about themselves. And then we'd go out and do our Monday Night Football thing, which was pretty cool. So Leonard Tost got that. And then, of course, Dick Vermeil. The Hall of Famer, Dick Vermeil, gave me the opportunity of a lifetime. To be with the Philadelphia Eagles. Had that free agent tryout. If you saw the movie, those things, how old are you? How old are you, Coach? I never said that. I wouldn't say that to Coach Vermeil, for crying out loud. So I lied. I was 30 years old. I told him I was 24. Oh, okay. Well, that's okay, because he didn't know, because he was from Brentwood, UCLA. He didn't know anything about what's going on in Philadelphia. He certainly didn't know about me, because I was a track guy. There was nothing out there in that football kind of a thing. And then he said, well, where'd you play your college football? Well, I wasn't going to tell him I didn't play college football. I played for Max's Bar, or Deacon Ale House, or Cannon's Cafe in the Rough Touch League. So I said Temple University. And then when I said it, I didn't realize Temple at that time didn't have a football program. Oh. Yeah, there are people that are saying that they don't have a football program now either, but anyway. Yeah. But, again, he's a Brentwood guy, UCLA guy, they didn't know what it was like in Philadelphia, but he wound in Radnor, and so I got away with it. And I signed that great contract of $21,000. Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't negotiate my contract. I had an agent for a free agent tryout, for crying out loud, right? He got 10%, so, take 10%, right? So I wound up after, a 15, 14-game season, I wound up with 10% less than $21,000, but that's okay, because I would have paid money to be a Philadelphia frickin' Eagle, man, I'll tell you that. So it was pretty good. All right. So this is all about you now. Volunteers. Thank God for all the volunteers. How many in this room, raise your hand, have volunteered to do something to help somebody out without any, without any kind of a paycheck, So it's all about the volunteers. It's all about the Gridiron Greats and the things that you're doing and the money that's being raised and the Dire Need Fund, and that's so very important. So thank you so much for what you do. And then for me, I'd have to go back and say I'd like to thank all the coaches and teachers that helped me out so much as I was struggling as a kid going through puberty, living in a housing project. See, my mother, my great athlete mother, suffered from anxiety and depression. And so I'm coming home from school one day, I'm about 13, 14 years old, and there's this housing project that we have, we call it Cinder Block City. They built it right before World War II, and it's a lot, we're all boomers, and I was born in 46, and I come home, and there's an ambulance in front of my house. Ooh, this isn't good, because my mom and dad are having these, they're having these fierce battles. My mom's drinking a lot. She's taking a lot of stuff, pills and smoking cigarettes and all that. That was the first nervous breakdown I'd ever seen her have. And they took her out in a straitjacket. So you know the movie One Flew Over Cuckoo's Nest? I lived it. I had to visit my mother there. It wasn't pretty. She had electric shock, insulin shock, all kinds of shocks. And it's shocking as a young kid to have that. And you're coming apart at the seams, But you don't want to talk about it because it's mental illness. And back then in the 50s, oh my God, it's like Deborah was talking about the mental, Miss Mackey talking about the mental side of things that you just didn't talk about. You just didn't talk about those kinds of things back then. But I had that one guy. I had that one coach, and his name was Coach George Corner, and he took me under his wing. He's the guy that allowed me to come out as a first-year football player. He told me to come out for track. He says, what do you want to do? I said, I want to pole vault, man. I'm going to be a pole vaulter. And I wound up getting a scholarship in pole vaulting, for crying out loud. So they gave me that opportunity. But he gave me one of the greatest quotes that I've ever gotten, and I'm going to leave this with you, and I'll get to the very end in just a second. And his quote is all about dreams. And I said, hey, Coach, man, they're busting me pretty good. I'm 30 years old. I said, what do you think? Should I give it a shot? He says, man, if anybody should give it a shot, you got to give it a shot. I said, well, they're telling me I'm too old, never been done before, it's too risky, you're 30 years old, you didn't play college football, it's not on your resume, what are you, out of your mind? And he says, here, let me give you this quote. And this is the quote that he gave me. He said, happy are those who dream dreams and are willing to pay the price to make their dreams come true. And there it is, pay the price. You're willing to pay the price? That's what it is. Right now, we have so many people out there that have these dreams that are being shattered, and they're paying the price, and they don't know where to go. They don't know where to turn. They might be embarrassed to do that, but you might be able to help out. And you see those commercials all the time. Just be an advocate for somebody. Treat somebody nice. Treat everybody with respect and kindness, and it's amazing what you'll find. And then maybe the most impactful person in my life, sitting right there. My wife of 31 years almost. Janet, stand up, please. So, in the movie, they got her as a Giants fan. I'm like, what, are you kidding me? What could be worse than being a Giants fan other than being a Cowboys fan, for crying out loud? Oh, Tony, did you like that one? Yeah. So, Janet, and it was mentioned that, Janet was on the USA World Gymnastics team, coached at the University of Pennsylvania, coached and taught all over the place. She's a realtor for 41 years, and she's the rock and the fixer of the family also, the oldest of 9. The first 6 were girls, and all those 6 girls were all-American gymnasts. But Janet got to wear the 3 greatest letters in the world on her jersey, USA, baby. So that's what it is. So, yeah. Yeah, baby. She keeps me together. And then, of course, she gave me 2 of the greatest gifts that a man could ever possibly have. And it was mentioned, our son, Vinny, he just finished up with the CFL. The UFL, not the CFL. Randy, he did sign with, during COVID, he signed with, he was with, it was up there in Montreal, but of course, COVID knocked that out. But he just finished up a good season with the CFL, and don't be surprised if you see a number 13, Vinny Papale, in the NFL next year. It's something that could happen. And our daughter Gabrielle is so proud, Syracuse grad, and all that. And And right now, they're both just got engaged to be married, and they're all going to be married next summer. So it's going to be a hell of a year. So, don't forget when you see that GoFundMe from Vince Papale, that's what it's all about. All right? All right. So, but Peter Candelora, Dr. Peter Candelora, I know he does an awful lot of work. Peter, stand up, please, and all of your entourage. And, it's just amazing, one of the greatest guys. He did my knees. Both my knees were all messed up from doing all those jumps. And, and they're doing pretty good right now, but I told you I was going to do that. And then, so this is it. I'm gonna leave you with this, and I'm very serious about this. So, you get out and people say, and I've worked with the Wounded Warriors and the vets and all those kinds of things, and the Thomas Mannion Foundation and the Travis Mannion Foundation. And several years ago, when the movie had just come out, I got an invitation from the Wounded Warriors to go to Walter Reed Hospital in Washington, D.C. And oh my God, I was frightened. I was so nervous. What are these guys? How are they going to react to these men and women that have just been torn apart? And, so I did some research to try to figure out what was going on. And what they did is they went the night before they showed the movie, which was really cool. So I didn't know that. They didn't tell me that. But when I got in there, it was just such a shock to me, and it just totally blew my mind. And after it was done and the visit was done, I was taken to Acela. It runs right up the line on the East Coast, the Acela from Washington, D.C., right into Philadelphia. And I ran into James Brown, James Brown, the commentator and football guy and all that. And yo, Vinny, he says, how you doing? He says, oh, my God. He said, look at the look on your face. What just happened? I said, James, you're not going to believe this. I just visited these men and women at Walter Reed Mental Hospital. He says, you know what I'd like you to do? He says, you know what you need to do? He said, go back and get a drink. And he said, start writing. He said, start writing about what you saw. So I'd like to share with you and finish up with this. And and I called it the second chance, because we had a player that was with the Eagles that was looking for a second chance. And I figured, okay, let's go this. And so I did it. So here we go. I hope you like it. And I'm going to just read this verbatim. They're called the Wounded Warriors, and they'll tug at your heartstrings like no one you've ever met. They're my heroes, and they come in all sizes, shapes, sexes, races, and religions. These men and women are undrafted free agents, and they signed on to their team to protect the American dream, our dream, and we're giving no signing bonuses. They got no press conferences, no guarantees, uniforms worn with pride, not adorned with corporate logos. They're adorned with stripes and medals earned through sweat, blood, and not entitlement. They don't second-guess their coaches. They simply execute the play that they're asked to run. These warriors scoff at the arrogance of entitlement, holding the truth that nobody ever drowned in sweat. That was a great Dick Vermeil quote. You got to earn what you get, they think. And they risk their lives every day to make sure our dreams come true. And in the end, their dreams were shattered. And they, too, are looking for a second chance, not in the NFL, but in the game of life. And this is for everybody out there, not just these soldiers. Anybody looking for that second chance. And what team do they play for? Well, of course, they play for Team USA, the most powerful team on earth. And they're members of the U.S. military, and I met them in Washington, D.C. at Walter Reed. And I went them to inspire them, or to try to, and I walked away totally inspired and blown away by courage and attitudes that I've never, ever experienced in my life and seen before, including some of my teammates. Along with lost dreams went lost teammates, lost limbs, organs, and memories. But what can never be taken away from these warriors is their heart that beats as loud and strongly as ever as they bust their hump every day to get back into the game of life. So, you saw that T-shirt in the movie, the Who's Nuts Award. We used to get them instead of game balls playing special teams. We got a Who's Nuts T-shirt. I was wearing it around today. If you saw it, it's pretty cool. And they're coveted. So my Who's Nuts Award for the best special teams player of the week went to all the wounded warriors that I met and showed me what it's really like to be invincible. And the next time you're at any kind of a sporting event and they introduce a hometown hero to the crowd, get on your seat, applaud like hell, make sure the team at Walter Reed can hear you, because they too deserve a standing ovation and a second chance. And that was it. And I'll tell you, I believe it. And thank you again for all those that served and for those in the... And I'd like to finish with this. One of my favorite teammates and best teammates has this great saying, and this is what it all is all about, and this is why we're here. Let's huddle up and make a difference and impact today and tonight with tomorrow in mind. And my good buddy, Gary Papa, like this, Janet, I'm going to put this in there. He passed, but he had this saying. He said, the last hour raised could be the last hour that saves someone's life. So, hey, to everybody out there and for everybody that got their awards tonight, thank you so very, very much. I'm honored. I'm blessed. Go, everybody, and I can't wait to party like hell after this is over. Now my nerves have settled down. So thank you very much. Oh, fly, Eagles, fly, baby.